Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Akila and today I have Bonnie with me here. She's going to be my assistant. We'll see how helpful she is. But today I'm going to be taking you through a class for foot and ankle mobility and also just some foot and ankle rejuvenation. We're going to be doing a little bit of self-massage. We're going to be doing some mobility drills for the feet and ankles as well as some strengthening and stretching. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Starting by taking your left foot, you can either cross the ankle over or just take the foot into the hands. You're going to take your two thumbs down to your heel, and you're going to take your thumbs up the sides of the arches of your foot all the way towards the toes. So you're just going to take a few passes, just like this, massaging into the bottoms of the feet. If you feel sort of almost like a Velcro sensation, that means that you really need this. It's not really anything to be overly concerned about, unless it's painful, in which case you should go and consult your physician. So just taking a few passes with the thumbs, really pressing into the feet, starting to knead into this space. Start to open it up, bring some warmth. And next, this one's a little bit strange, but you're going to take your fingers to interlace in between each of your toes. So as if you're clasping your fingertips, but with your foot. And you can just take the ankle in a gentle circle in both directions. Taking a few circles in one direction, and then taking those same circles in the other direction. Bonnie, that tickles. And once you feel as though you're even circling in both directions, you can go ahead and let that release. Come up onto the right shin, and then plant the left foot. And you're going to take your fingertips down the front of the left shin, down the tops of the feet, and towards the toes. So you can use one or both hands, and just massaging into the front of that shin area. And if you go to the outer left side of your shin, you can feel the more muscular part of your leg there. That is an area that's often neglected when it comes to massage and also stretching. It's very difficult to stretch that particular area. So it's important we take care of it. And as you take the fingertips down the top of the foot, really making sure that each of the fingertips is assigned to a toe. And really pressing into that foot, feeling the grounding of that foot. And then we'll take it to the second side. So taking the right foot into the hands, and just drawing the thumbs down the base of the sole of the foot. Really opening up that space in the arch of the foot. The feet do so much for us every day. We're on them all day. And we often neglect the foot and ankle care. So again, just taking a few passes down the foot. If this feels really nice and you'd like more time doing it, you can feel free to pause the video. Hello, thank you, my little assistant. Oh, please don't lick the microphone. That's not going to be a very nice sound for them. And then taking your fingers to interlace in between the toes. Very strange sensation if it's your first time doing it. And then take a gentle circle of the ankle. Make sure you go in both directions. Really feeling each of the toes independent. And then you can let that release. Come up onto the left shin, planting the right foot, and then taking your fingertips down the front of the right shin, down the top of the foot, and really press into the ground. Taking a few passes here. And this grounding of the feet comes in so important later when we try and create this foundation with the feet, especially if you're balancing on one foot. It's really important to feel all four corners of the feet into the floor and create that solid foundation. Good, and then when you're ready, we'll meet with the toes tucked, seated on the heels. And this is where you can add in blocks if you'd like to. You can take them next to the hips, or you can take the fingertips to the floor. And what we're going to do is we're going to rock back so that you lessen the intensity of the stretch on the bottoms of the feet. And then lean forward, tap the knees. You'll feel an intense stretch down the arch of the foot. We're going to lean forward onto the knees, lift up the toes, and plant the tops of the feet to the floor. And then take the fingertips behind you, lean back slightly, and maybe you can lift the knees, getting a stretch into the fronts of the ankles. Be very careful and gentle. Don't go too far. Leaning forward, fingertips plant, tuck the toes again. Rock the hips back, maybe the knees lift, curl in. Then rock the knees forward, knees tap. Untuck the toes, sit the hips back. Take the fingertips behind you and maybe lift the knees slightly. And then let's try and start to coordinate this with the breath. So as you inhale, come forward, fingertips plant, toes tuck. Exhale, rocks the hips back, knees lift. Inhale, knees tap. Exhale, untuck the toes, sit the hips back, knees lift. A few more times. Inhale, come forward. Fingertips plant, tuck the toes. Exhale, curl in the spine, lift the knees. Inhale to tap the knees. Exhale, untuck the toes, sit the hips back, plant the fingertips behind and lift the knees. 2 more times here. Inhale comes forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the knees, round in. Inhale, tap the knees. Exhale, untuck the toes, fingertips plant behind, knees lift. Last time here. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the knees, curl in. Inhale comes forward, taps the knees. Exhale, untuck the toes, sit the hips back, lift the knees slightly. And then we'll come forward through a tabletop position. Wrists come under shoulders, knees come under hips. And we'll extend the right leg back. So on the inhales, you're going to shift the weight forward, extend so that the toes come to the mat of the right foot, pointing through the toes. And exhale, sink that heel back, lengthen down the back of the leg, get a stretch in the calf. Inhale takes you forward, come up onto the toes. Exhale sits the hips back slightly, extending into that back leg, heel pulls back. Inhale, shift you forward, flip to the top of the foot. Exhale, shift it back, stretch into the calf. One last time, inhale, shift it forward. Exhale, heel shifts back, getting a stretch in the calf. And then we'll change that out to the other side. So right knee plants, left leg extends behind. Inhale, shift you forward. You roll through the toes until the top of the foot comes to flip to the mat. Exhale, rock it back, come back onto the ball of the foot, heel drives back of the left foot. Inhale, shifts it forward, coming to the tops of the toes. Exhale, shifts it back, heel extends long. 2 more times. Inhale, shifts it forward, come to the top of the toes. Exhale, shift it back, heel drives back long. Last time, inhale takes it to shift forward. Exhale, we shift the heel back, long stretch in the calf. And then inhale, come back through the center, through tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, finding a downward facing dog. Pedaling into the feet here. Inhales and exhales are long and intentional and controlled. Next inhale, you're going to take the right leg up and back long for three-legged dog. And we'll take a few circles of the ankle here. So circling the toes, getting as much range of motion as you possibly can here. And then changing direction, taking the circle the other way. Lots of energy through that back leg. The next time you take an exhale, pull the knee into the chest. You're going to step the right foot through between the hands, finding a low lunge. Fingertips can come up onto your blocks if you'd like to here. You're going to take the fingertips to tent slightly ahead of you. And on the inhales, same idea as before. We're going to shift forward, coming to the tops of the toes, taking more of your weight into your right foot. And then on the exhales, flipping back over the toes, extend that heel back. Inhale takes you forward, shift to the top of the left foot. And exhale shifts you back, heel drives back. One more time, inhale shifts you forward, coming to the top of the foot. And exhale shifts you back, straighten into both legs, finding pyramid pose, letting the head release heavy here. And here, if you'd like to, you can come up and down on the back foot. Keeping with that same movement that we've been working with all of class. Next exhale, you're going to rebend into the right leg. Plant the hands either side of the front foot and step it back, downward facing dog. Taking a little march from foot to foot if you'd like to. Miss Bonnie is trying to eat my hair, as usual. Next time you inhale, send the left leg up and back for three-legged dog. And take a few circles of the ankle. Try your best here to make as large of a range of motion with your ankle as possible. And then make sure you take that circle in the other direction. Next time you exhale, you're going to pull the knee into the chest and step the left foot through, finding your low lunge. And again, we'll walk the fingertips slightly forward here. And that same idea, on the inhales, we're going to shift forward, come to the top of the right foot. And then exhale, shift it back, heel drives back. Inhale, shift it forward, coming to the top of the right foot. And exhale, shift that heel back in space, coming back to the ball of the foot. One more time, inhale shifts you forward, coming to the top of the foot. And then exhale, shift it back, sending that heel back long in space. Holding here for a moment, and then exhale, straighten into both legs, coming into a pyramid pose. And you can even alternate here from coming really, really high on the back of the ball, the back foot, and then shifting back, lifting maybe the toes of the front foot, coming up onto the heel. So that's something you can play with in your pyramid pose as well. Next time you inhale, rebend into the front leg, plant the hands to either side of the front foot.
And then step the foot back, finding a downward facing dog. Really sending the hips up and back here. If you need to bend any amount into your knees to lengthen into the spine, that's what we want to do. If you feel yourself rounding forward in your downward facing dog, you really want to try and add the additional bend into the knees and see if you can send the hips further up and back. Next time you inhale, right leg is going to lift up and back for three-legged dog. Then a few times we're going to come up and down on the ball of the left foot. So on the inhales, the heel rises on the left foot as much as you can. And then exhale, let it settle towards the mat. Inhale to lift the heel. Exhale, let it settle. One last time, inhale, lift the left heel as high as you can. Exhale, let it settle. And pull the right knee into the chest. Step the foot through, finding your low lunge. So here, fingertips are framing the front foot. Your inhales are in your low lunge. Exhale, you're going to pivot the right toes to the top left corner of the mat, and then pivot the hips towards the left edge of the mat, and swivel your left toes up towards the ceiling, coming into Skandasana. So your inhales will be your Skandasana. Exhales, meticulously readjusting the feet to come back to your low lunge, facing the top of the mat. We'll flow through this 2 more times. Inhale, pivot into your Skandasana. You might be higher up than this, that's totally okay. Exhale, frame the front foot, finding your low lunge. Last time, inhale, pivot the feet. Be meticulous about where the foot placement is and how you're shifting. Last exhale takes it to your low lunge. Inhaling here. And exhale, step it back, finding a downward facing dog. And you walk the hands to the back of the mat to meet the feet. You can just let the head hang heavy in a forward fold here for a moment. If you'd like to, you can bend into one knee and then the other, shifting side to side. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk your hands back out to down dog. I'm just going to face the other direction so that I can be facing you for this next series. But you can keep the top of your mat the same. Next inhale takes the left leg up and back for a three-legged dog. Exhale, we settle, finding the pose. Inhale takes you as high as you possibly can onto the right heel. Exhale, lower that right heel towards the mat. Inhale, lift the right heel. Exhale, let it settle towards the mat. Last time, inhale high onto the heel. Exhale, let it settle. Pull the left knee into the chest, step the left foot through, finding your low lunge. Inhale, chest pulls forward here. Exhale, settle. Next time you take an inhale, pivot your left toes to the top right corner of your mat. And then pivot the hips to the right side of the mat and sink the hips down, finding the Skandasana. Right toes face up towards the ceiling. Again, you may be up higher, more like this. Whatever expression of the pose that you are in is perfectly fine. Next time you inhale, coming back, finding the low lunge. Exhale, settle here. Inhale takes you into your Skandasana, being meticulous about the placement of the feet, feeling the directional changes of the feet. Exhale, come back through the low lunge. One more time, inhale, pivot the hips to the right side of the mat, coming into your Skandasana, right toes face up. And then exhale, coming to the low lunge. Hands frame the front foot. Step it back, finding your downward facing dog. One more inhale here in your down dog. And exhale, just tap the knees to the mat. And sit the hips back, toes can be tucked here. Coming into our toe stand, foot stretch. And then here, I'm just gonna add in a little bit of a challenge if you'd like to try it, or you can stay in your toe stand. If the toe stand is feeling really intense, you can come up onto the knees higher. The more your hips sit towards your feet, the more intense the stretch gets. So option to have your hands to blocks here if you'd like to, or you can play with the challenge of coming from your toe stand here to lean back and lift the knees. To come to your toe stand with the knees lifted. So we'll shift back and forth between this a few times. So inhales, come forward with the knees, tap the mat. And exhales, knees lift. You can also hold on to a wall nearby if you'd like a little bit of extra balance. So inhale, knees tap. Exhale, knees lift. It's really challenging. Just feeling this shift forward and back. You can go at your own pace with your own breath. We'll do about 5 here. Exhales, pulling the knees in will help with the coordination. Inhales, lean forward to tap the knees. Exhales, knees pull into chest. We'll take one more. Inhale, knees tap. And exhale, knees lift. And from here, you can just shift the hips back. Find yourself in a seat on the mat. Legs extend out long in front of you. Inhale's finding a long chest, tall into the sit bones. And then exhale, you can lean forward. Hands can come to shins or next to the legs on the mat. Or if you'd like to, you can try and reach for the feet. I'll leave it up to you if you want to try and do this with more of a flat back, chest pulled forward, or more of a rounded back, head relaxes towards the shins. Whatever feels like it's calling to you is the option that you take. And we'll stay here for a few breaths. Maybe you feel like the feet have done a lot of work and you just want to let them relax. Or maybe you alternate between the two. You can come to a flat back on the inhales and then round down, relax on the exhales, extend into the ankles, point into the toes. Inhales, flex the feet, extend the chest forward. And exhale, release the neck, let the head fall, toes extend forward. Next time you breathe in, we'll come out of the forward fold. And exhale, we're just going to cross the left ankle over the right thigh, coming into a figure 4. And from here, you can lean forward slightly until you start to feel a stretch in the left outer hip. You can also take a gentle press onto the inner side of the left knee, but make sure you're gentle. And we want to make sure here that the ankle is either crossed above the knee or below the knee on the shin, just not on top of the knee. But the stretch will be less intense if you have the left ankle crossed over the right shin. So keep that in mind and adjust as you need to. And we're going to take that left foot to plant to the floor. Left knee points up towards the ceiling. And then take the nook of the right elbow around the knee to come into a gentle twist. Inhales, find length in the spine. And exhales, maybe you find a little bit more of a rinse into the twist. Next time you take an inhale, just unravel the twist. And we'll change it out for the other side. So crossing the right ankle over. And taking a slight lean forward. Maybe take a gentle press onto the inner right knee. But again, be careful with this, how far you go. Really wanting to be gentle on the body here. Starting to wind things down. No need to force ourselves into any shapes here. And take one more deep breath in through the nose. And on the exhale, planting the right foot outside of the left leg and taking the left elbow crease into the right knee so you can take it into a gentle twist. Inhales are for finding length in the spine. And the exhales, maybe you take the twist just a little bit further. But again, we don't want to crank our body into the twist. You should be able to hold the amount of twist that you have with the strength of your core, even if you were to let go. So if you do the let go test and you slingshot, it means you're using your arms too much to twist. We'll take one more breath here. And then exhale, let it release. Coming down onto the back. My mat is being entirely taken up by an Australian Shepherd. Once you arrive on your back, you'll take the soles of the feet into the hands, bending at the knees, soles of feet facing the ceiling, finding a happy baby pose. So the knees here are dropping heavy towards the floor. Trying to keep the backs of your hips grounded here. So if you find the base of your spine is rolling up, you can always take the hands to the backs of the thighs instead. And if you're newer to yoga, this pose can feel really vulnerable, really silly and awkward sometimes. So if you're not ready to do this pose yet, if it feels a little too strange, no worries. You just hug the knees into the chest. And on your next exhale, you can release into Shavasana. So legs extend long, arms extend long. I'm just going to meet you in a seated meditation because Bonnie is taking up the entirety of my mat. So whatever final resting pose you'd like to take, just anywhere that you can be comfortable, that you can check in with yourself. Have a peaceful, relaxing moment to let all of the physical work of the practice integrate. Allowing yourself to fall heavy into the mat, feeling all the places where the floor supports you. And for today's practice, I'm just going to leave you in your final rest. So before I end the video, I'd like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you for taking my class. Thank you to my viewers who requested this video. I hope you enjoyed class, and I hope you enjoy this Shavasana. I will see you in the next video.